It is Tuesday, December 2nd at 6 PM, and I'd like to call the regular Board of Trustees for the Village of North Hudson meeting to order. Roll call, please. Oh, invocation first. Dear Lord Father, we ask for wisdom, guidance, and discernment in the decisions that we make that affect our village and its residents. We also ask you to watch over our police and all emergency responders who serve. And we have a special prayer for the National Guard member that was brutally murdered in Washington, D.C., and pray for all the families that have lost loved ones in the last, constant attacks. Roll call, please.
Trustee Keller.
Here.
Trustee Guerin.
Here.
Trustee Nelson.
Here.
Trustee Pike.
Here.
Trustee Porter.
Here.
And President Wecken.
Here. Thank you. Next on the agenda, review and approve minutes from the regular board meeting of November 4, 2025.
Move to approve.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, John. Any corrections, amendments, or additions to the minutes? Hearing none. All in favor of the minutes as presented, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Item 3 is comments from the floor, limited to 3 minutes for speakers. An opportunity for Village of North Hudson residents, property owners, and business owners to make the board aware of new topics, issues, opportunities not on today's agenda for consideration for future meetings. Is there anyone that has anything that's a new topic and like to address the board? Seeing, name and address, please.
Nick Rowdy, 1030 10th Street North. With an interim trustee being voted on tonight, I was just curious if we could hear a little bit of the process and how the selection of that person was made. I think that would be good for all of us to hear where the pool of people would come from for that.
That's, well, I can't answer.
Can't answer that, yeah.
Respond to the questions, but we'll take that, we'll get back to you. Anybody else? Hearing none. Item 4, new business from the board or staff. And the first is president's comments. And as I know everybody that's here and is not here, everybody's aware that the winter weather has arrived. So please, if you can, please do your best to keep your vehicles. If there's going to be a snow day or evening, please try to keep your vehicles off the street as best you can, or park on areas of the town where we just have limited off-street parking. Please park on one side of the street. Maybe you can organize with your neighbors. Certain neighbors have done that. And also, everybody's got to keep, that's up to the residents of the area, to keep your fire hydrants shoveled and clear. That's something that you sure wouldn't want the fire department to have to dig out a fire hydrant if your place is on fire. So please make sure you keep those plowed out. And I would like to wish everyone a very blessed, joyous, and safe Christmas and New Year's holiday season. Remember the reason for the season. Gina?
I just have 2 items tonight. The first is a reminder that property taxes will be coming out probably next week. The deadline for the county to send those out is December 15th, so usually it's right around there that you will get those. So be watching for those in the mail. And then the other item is on the comprehensive plan. It's come up a couple of times. I think in the last meeting it was discussed that there were a couple of revisions to some maps that were needed. And talking with Paul, we agreed that because of that, we were going to request it be sent back to Plan Commission for a re-review of Plan Commission, since it will look different than what they saw when they gave their approval of their resolution to pass it up to the board. So we'll try and get that back on the calendar in January and have them review that, and then it'll be back at the board.
Thank you. Anything else?
That's it.
All right. Item 5, Waste Management, update from Account Manager Tim Miller. Tim, welcome.
Thank you very much.
Please,
Mr. President, village trustees, thank you for the opportunity to come here tonight to talk about the service Waste Management is providing to the residents in the village of North Hudson. We did receive a letter from you outlining several areas that needed to be addressed, all of which have been addressed. I just wanted to provide some feedback on where we're at and where we're gonna be moving as a working business relationship. So, we had the schedule change, and unfortunately, the initial from me was a phone call instead of an email. In hindsight, that should have been an email for 100%. But when I did get the email out, it did fall 12 days short of the contractual obligation as far as notifying. WM did handle the mailing to the residents as far as talking about the day change. And the day change was part of a larger plan to improve the level of service. We had routes all over the area, and the reroute has all the trucks together in an area working south, from north to south. And the benefit to that is the reality of the world. If somebody were to call in sick, if a truck breaks down, we have the resources in the vicinity that can absorb additional stops. You know, where a guy's day is not gonna be a 9 or 10 hour day, it's gonna be a 10 or 11 hour day, but he'll take on some of the stops from the route that was impacted. At the end of the day, the whole plan behind the reroute, and nobody likes change, but the whole idea behind the reroute was to improve the level of service. And then after it was implemented, there's a learning curve for the driver that's getting new stops on his route and getting to know his route, where he's gonna be going. And I believe we're at a point now where they're comfortable. They understand where they're going, they understand where their route is, and it's gonna be a benefit in the long term. The second bullet point spoke to container handling and damage to containers, which I believe is just a simple adjustment on the truck. My apologies. Tim Miller, I'm the public sector rep for the area, and Brad Mueller is the district manager for the Somerset site. But it's an adjustment on the truck for setting the containers down. So we should see an improvement in that. So any damage, if a cart needs to be replaced, we obviously replace it, no charge. It's just the inconvenience that we want to try to avoid. We certainly don't want to make additional work for ourselves. So the third bullet point, cleanup of spilled waste. Anything that is spilled, and Brad conducts what do you call them in the morning?
I conduct the pre-inspection prior to the drivers going out on routes. And so referring to this, some of the items that we've identified and addressed is some of the older assets in our fleet we're beginning to phase out, and repairing them so that way they don't end up spilling trash. But we are also in the process of phasing those older units out within the next 5 to 6 weeks with compressed gas units, so.
Should see a new fleet on the street from us. So to Brad's point, there'll be obviously fresh welds with a new truck, and it should be no spillage. But in the process of collection, if anything were to fall, our drivers will take care of that and clean it. Leave it as good as you found it. Actually better, because their trash will be gone. The fifth and final bullet point, customer relations, complaint logs. I worked with in the last couple weeks, worked with a member of our team that actually handles the customer experience. That's 888 number that's available, and the agents log every call in, and he walked me through the process of printing out that report. My plan is to conduct regularly scheduled meetings to review the calls. And I first was a little alarmed because it was a long list, but a lot of them are delivery and removal. And there were a few that needed attention. And in addition to covering those at a regularly scheduled meeting with the administrator, I would do a follow-up call, because to me, that's what good service looks like. If I had an issue and it was taken care of, and then I got a phone call saying, was it taken care of to your satisfaction? That's what I would expect, so that's what my commitment is. So, as we work through and address these bullet points, I look forward to coming before you, months down the road in a more positive light and talk about innovation, other things we have to improve recycling. There's self-service options which aren't for everybody. We still have the phone call, but there are self-service options out there. Would be right up my son's alley, but not for me. But I look forward to looking back on this as an area that WM had an opportunity to improve, and we stepped up to the plate and did it.
Excellent.
So bullet one,
Yes, sir.
do you train your drivers on the routes that they have to run?
Yes, yes, we do. In the past, after the reroute that Tim had spoken to, a lot of those tenured drivers had actually started to retire, so we had a lot of new employees coming in as well. So a lot of those drivers were missing that knowledge piece of, it's hard to replace 15 years of experience running that specific route. So a lot of the newer employees were learning it almost from the ground up. And a lot of the things that I do on a daily basis is monitor different KPIs and metrics and things of that nature. And one of the biggest ones that I'm focusing on as of this month is our sequence compliance, which is ensuring that the drivers are running the stops in the correct order. And actually, we just hit a big win for our site. We actually started to hit 95%. So continuing to get that up to 98 is our next goal. So stair-stepping results and ensuring that we take care of our customers along the way.
So on a changeover like that, and you're giving us, what, 60 days or 30 days
Right.
notice?
Mhm.
Do you take those drivers out on those new routes? Because we had people, the biggest complaint I had were people were going a week or two
Yep.
with not getting pickup at all.
So part of that issue, I think, can be explained long-term. So I actually managed not only Somerset, but I also managed St. Paul as well as 2 other smaller locations. So Hudson, River Falls, and then North Hudson, I believe, and Roberts were originally serviced out of our St. Paul location when they were under advanced disposal. Then after the acquisition from advanced disposal to WM, they made the transition to run this side of the Mississippi out of the Somerset location. It was really a financial and a business decision. So a lot of those drivers hadn't actually seen a lot of those routes. And then with the turnover, that's where a lot of the lack of service ended up coming from. But with some of the things that I'm doing, for instance, with one of my new hires who just came on board 45 days ago, is he's actually been training in with the gentleman who's retiring here in the middle of the month for the entirety until he retires. So that way he knows that route as well as that gentleman does.
Okay. Thanks.
Anybody else on the board have questions?
Ironically, with more information too, we are kind of your beacon. So the way it kind of goes is you guys tell us, then when the town calls us, we inform them. So like a lot of these answers that you have given us, that we could have stopped a lot of this, even with the day switch, because if we know, we can say, hey, logically, this really helps them. So I'm glad we're here now, but that's kind of a little part of the frustration was, we're here for you a lot of times. Like, and we, that's our job, so we understand what you're saying and what you're doing, but then we tell the next people. That's what we get paid the big bucks for.
Gina, have we seen a decrease on the website?
I have not, I think I've received 1 or 2 submissions on the website, in the last couple of weeks, and our phone volume has gone down as well, so.
Okay, thanks.
I think that, along with improved communication that you will see from us, we should be trending the right way.
Then where do we go next? Come back in 3 months?
Well, we had, Mary and I had talked a little bit about that too, kind of what those next steps look like. I think we, so as Tim mentioned, we connected. We're gonna meet on a regular basis, keep in touch. What we were thinking, maybe Kirk, is that we bring this discussion back to the welfare committee meeting, which is the committee which it starts in, and monitor it there for however long, 30 days, 60 days, however, and either report back and say we're looking good, or report back and say there's still some more work that needs to be done. But that's, at a high level, what I was thinking is it would go back to welfare
Sounds good.
to monitor.
Okay, that's fair. And similar to what I said,
Yeah.
taking care of it is step one, but closing that loop with a conversation about what happened, what we did, and what you'd like to see, if anything, if you'd like to see anything different, we'll keep the communication open. Thank you all
So
for your
Tim is who
time.
I had mentioned when we had these discussions. He's the one that gives out his cell phone to customers when they can't reach. And
Yes.
so he has been taking the brunt of that, and that has been a lifesaver for us here in the village when the 888 number is unreachable. This is the guy that we've been working with, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Well, and it doesn't help you guys at all, the drivers and stuff like that either, when we get a snow event on Sunday night,
Sure, you're right.
you know, but, hopefully people will understand that and, you know, and try to keep them in their driveways rather than in the streets so the plows get through too, so. But we much appreciate it, guys, and, we hope you have a blessed and safe holidays.
Thank you.
Thank
as
you.
well.
Look forward to continuing the conversation as we move forward.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tim.
Okay, next item on the agenda, we are going to postpone to a later date. It was to appoint someone to fill in for a trustee that is moving out of the area. And there's been several other people that have shown interest. And so we're gonna look over the people that are showing interest, and we'll make a decision at a board meeting down the line. So that one is off our list for today. Election inspector appointments, 2026 and 2027, term approval requested.
Stan, move to appoint the following Republican, Democratic, and non-affiliated election inspectors. Please forgive me if I mess up your name. Jennifer Borup, John Borup, Randall Ryder, Daniel Schmidt, Gene Schneider, Karen Sweeney, Margaret Wopat, Donna Mae Stolman, Elizabeth Gustafson, Gary Robbins, Jane McMullen, John Perry, Nancy Waltz, Patricia Burns, Renee Stevens, Richard Ryan, Robert C. Sizik, Stephen Perry, Deanna Shevland, for the term of January 1, 2026 to December 31, 2027.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
A second.
Thank you, John. Any discussion or questions?
President Wecken, I'll be not voting on this because my husband's on the list.
Okay, thank you.
And for confirmation, this has come up a few times, the lists that, of the people that were read off are submitted from the various affiliated parties. And as a clerk, my role is to have those people appointed on a every 2-year basis, so that's why you'll see them coming through 26 and 27. And we are supposed to staff all of our elections with the people on that list first. So anybody who had reached out to me in the previous years to say, hey, I'd like to be an election worker, I encouraged them to go and reach out to their party and be added to that list, because as you heard, it's a long list. So the likelihood that we'll be pulling from people outside of that list for the upcoming elections is pretty small. We only have 7 people at most on a shift during an election, and so we should have more than enough coverage. So, but that's where those names came from. It's from the 2 parties. We actually didn't have anybody came in unaffiliated this year, so.
I didn't hear what Mary said.
I'm abstaining.
Because Dan's on the list.
You abstain if you have a relative on the list?
Yep.
I'll be abstaining too.
Okay.
Sister-in-law.
Well, does that count?
Does sister-in-law count?
No, yes, it does.
She's been on it nobody's ever told me to abstain before. I didn't know you had to. Thank you, Mary.
It's just my choice
Okay.
to do that.
I think it's a good idea.
Okay, so, any other discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the election inspectors that have been submitted, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The record will show Brian and Mary not voting. Okay, item number 8, Plan Commission recommendations. Chair update? I guess Paul.
I can handle that.
Gonna fill in first.
Plan Commission met, and we had 2 items. The first one, I just want to explain a little bit. It's an extraterritorial certified survey map. And under state law, the village has an extraterritorial plat approval for a 1.5 mile radius around the village limits. So basically, this CSM comes before the board for approval. Now, this particular CSM is way away from the village limits. There's, I think, 2 subdivisions in between it. So it does not impact the future growth pattern of the village or a proposed major road that would be put through or utility expansion of the village. So the Plan Commission voted to recommend approval. The second one is a certified survey map for the booster station up at the park. We need to do that in order to convey that infrastructure to the city of Hudson for the combination of the water and sewer that's coming down the pipe here. So they were both very straightforward, and Plan Commission had no issues with either one and recommended that the board approve both of them. So we would need a motion for each one.
Stan, I move to approve the creation of a 2-lot extraterritorial CSM, PIN number 020-1124-0 or -80-000 in the town of Hudson.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Dusty. Is there any further discussion?
Asked to be recognized for a question.
Excuse me?
I want to be recognized for a question. So if our attorney can explain, what does it mean that these would be extraterritorial to the village? Do we provide utilities, water, sewer? What is the impact?
Nothing to the village. So this is put in the state statute to help with long-term planning for a village or a city. So, and depending on your population, like if you have enough population, you can extend out to 3 miles. And if this was all, barren ground next to the village, there may be some concern to look at how that's developing. But this particular lot, it's all developed essentially between the town of Hudson and the village line, so it has no impact. I think one thing to consider for the board is when we get one of these simple ones that are really straightforward for the board just to allow staff to approve this administratively, so folks don't have to go to the plan commission and the board. You know, obviously, if there was one that's a little more complicated, that would be totally adjacent to current village limits, it may want to go through that process for review, but this one is not as straightforward as it can get, so.
So do these lots become part of the village?
Oh, no, it's all in the town. So
So-
this is just to allow, if the village had a long-term plan that this area were to develop over the next 20 years, and you're gonna run sewer service through there, and you're gonna look for higher density housing there in order to do that. Or, for instance, if there was a proposal for a bypass to go around the village in a long-term plan, that would impact these decisions. None of that applies to this case.
Anything else?
No, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Hearing none, we can roll call this, yeah?
Sure.
All in favor of, the motion as, presented, saying aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. And item C is the,
Stan, move to approve the minor subdivision to separate a .05 acre parcel which contains the Ridges Booster Station from the Chief Jansen Memorial Park, pin number 161-2082-00-990.
thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Mary. Any discussion on this piece? Brian, anything?
Well, apparently, so I asked Gina how this thing came about, because I don't like giving land away. And I was wondering, is there a way that we can just allow them access? But from what I've heard and learned is Cedar Corp and our attorneys and their attorneys agreed that this was the simplest way to get that contract completed.
You know, and
And I didn't get a chance to beat up Paul yet about it, but
I did have some pushback, but in the end, I don't think it was worth the fight. We're ending up in the same position that we would have otherwise. The only thing that we do have to, it's my understanding there's restrooms there for the park, that we need an agreement with the city so the village will have access to those long-term.
so if they own the land, they're gonna keep the bathrooms clean?
No. The bathroom's clean. We are also going to do the maintenance
Ah,
from a park perspective, since our groundskeepers is there and their actual lot line is very small. What
right,
this prevents us from having to do is keep the building on our insurance.
oh,
So if a storm comes through and it blows the roof off, the city, it's under their insurance, they fix it.
It's also things we've already been doing.
Yes, yep, the maintenance and
Yeah,
all of the
it's not like
bathroom.
it's adding anything extra.
So we will be renting back the bathrooms.
and do they maintain the building at all? They do, okay,
Yep, so if they want a new driveway, they put in a new driveway.
okay.
We don't have to be responsible for that.
How do we know where that little .05 is? Is it gonna be
It's all surveyed out.
Yep.
irons? You're not putting a fence in? Okay, that's it from me,
All you got?
yeah.
Anybody else?
Yeah,
Mary?
question. So the details of all of that, responsibilities will be spelled out in the consolidation agreement?
It, what we had talked about is doing a kind of a separate, lease document that showed that we would be leasing and maintaining the bathroom.
Anything else? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion to separate the subdivision, signify saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And let's see, Personnel and Finance Committee recommendations, claims, approval requests. Is there a motion?
Stan, can I move to recommend the board to approve the December 2025 non-recurring claims of $25,056.29?
Thank you, Kirk. Is there a second?
Second?
Thanks, Dusty. Is there comments or questions?
Anything out of the ordinary?
No, there isn't this month. We, no large expenses, and everything basically was general operating expense. Again, just speaking to the property taxes, those should be coming out here by December 15th at the latest.
Thank you. Okay, and any other comments or questions on claims?
I'm not sure if this is the right place, but it's under Personnel and Finance. We have in our packet, we have a treasurer's report. And one thing that it does mention in here that under the utility bills, can you explain that piece?
Yeah, absolutely. And we will be, this will also be explained, we're gonna send a newsletter out with the tax bills this year, so it'll have a little bit more information as well. But much like last year when we had to take the stormwater charge, which we ended up terming ERU, and move that out of a utility bill and onto the property tax, there was a special charge section for $60 for that stormwater utility fee. Per our decisions, what was the last meeting we met, where we agreed to move the fire service protection as a fee instead of paying for that out of the levy, that will also appear in that same category as fire protection. So you'll see the stormwater ERU fee on that bill, and then as of new of this year, because of that agreement, you will also see a fire protection, and again, in that $60 to $70 range is what you'll see on that fee. That'll also be on this year's property tax statement instead of in a utility bill.
So it used to hit their taxes, right? So taxes are being reduced, and we're just moving it out of the taxes and over to a bill. So I hope y'all understand that, so she doesn't get a ton of calls.
And that's okay too.
Anybody else? Hearing none, let's see, that's paying bills, so, Mary?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
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 Thank you, unanimous. Item 10, Public Works Committee recommendations, chair update.
Stan, we did meet. We did not have anything to bring forward. A lot of the discussion was around snow removal. This was before the snow came, and our Public Works Director said that he was ready, that all of our trucks were set and ready to go. The salt that we needed was here. As you saw with the snowfall, the trucks went out when it was up to about an inch, inch and a half, and we salted first, which is going to be our general procedure. And then they let the snow fall, and when it stopped at 9, we were watching the weather. They went out and cleared the roads. I think they did a pretty good job. They wanted to remind you that there is a form on our website if you have a request from Public Works, which is something I hadn't heard before. Every once in a while, when we're turning over big piles of snow like we were in this last one, somebody's driveway is going to get, at the end of it's going to get creamed. If you want and you need a little help, the Public Works guys did say you can go up, fill out that form, and request a little help at the end of your driveway if you ask nicely. Because sometimes they get some pretty mean calls when that happens. But if you request it nicely on that form, they will come out and try and push out the end of your driveway if you need the help. A reminder also is the garbage cans. As best as possible, you want to try and keep them out of the street. I have tried at times to keep a spot above the curb clear, and it gets a little impossible once some more and more snow lands up on top of that curb. But as best you can, if you've got room at the end of your driveway, try and keep them in your driveway and off the curb when it's a snow event, because that will help with the plowing of the streets. Otherwise, the guys have to come all the way back around. And as Stan said earlier, the more of our residents that work together, where you've got the ability to park on one side of the street, if our residents would work together, it would help us plow that one side, and then you could move over to the other side, and we can get curb to curb a lot better. I know Fifth Street does it. I don't know what other streets in the village have worked that out amongst the neighbors, but it would be very helpful to get it cleared faster, and you'd get a much cleaner street. The more we have to go around cars out there, the more the ice can build up, and the less likely we're going to be able to get all the way curb to curb. So those are just some considerations. Also, we have a utilities consolidation agreement to bring forward, and I'm getting to it. I would like to make a motion to move to approve the water and sewer consolidation agreements with the City of Hudson and all signatures required to complete the consolidation.
Thank you, Brian. Is there a second?
Second.
John? Thank you. Further discussion on utilities consolidation?
I can take, go ahead, Mary.
Yes, please, please take it.
So these were the documents. They have not changed since we reviewed them, let's see, 4 or 5 months ago. It was maybe even longer than that. I resent them 2 weeks ago for review. You will notice that instead of having a separate service level agreement, the service level agreement was added as an amendment or a part of the appendix as a part of the utility transfer document. So there's not 2 separate documents we're trying to manage. The second one, the service one, was actually made, put into the utility transfer. So the only 2 outstanding items that we had the last time we reviewed it as a group, I think I mentioned and brought forward in the email, was the PUC assignments. There was a question or request to have a second village resident added on the PUC. What I'm encouraging us to look at it a little bit differently this time, which is we are one. There isn't village versus city. And so if we look at it from, there's 7 PUC members representing the water and sewer between us versus we have to have 2 versus they have to have 7. You could say statistically, and this was the number I provided you, was we're close to that 25%, so one could argue we should have 2, but the city is also growing, and so that number will quickly drop, and we'll be back down to 1 representative anyways. And so, totally up to you guys. My recommendation is it's not worth fighting, given everything else we've accomplished. I did see a document that the city's lawyer provided that they will be signing at their upcoming meeting, and it very clearly states that the Village of North Hudson residents will no longer pay a higher fee than the City of Hudson residents for their water and sewer, that the fees will be kept the same. That came in today, so I'll forward it out to you guys, but that would be something that they will sign at the PUC, stating that they will no longer impose a higher fee on the Village of North Hudson residents, which at the end of the day was what we were going for.
I don't see the agreement in our packet.
I sent it via email 2 weeks ago to everybody with some commentary. I'm happy to re-forward it too.
Wouldn't we post it?
We could.
Yeah, I think that would be good.
Yeah, I can post it.
So we're voting on what we got in by email 2 weeks ago.
Yes, because I wanted you to have 2 weeks to review it before asking you to agree to move forward with it.
Any other discussion or questions? Hearing none. Let's see, that's just an agreement. All in favor of the utilities consolidation agreement, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody. Okay. Item 11, Public Safety Committee recommendations, chair update. Dusty?
Yes, Dan, thanks. We did meet. Nothing to bring up to the board right now. We're still talking about first responder stuff at the moment. We're gonna have another special guest on our next meeting, so we're gonna have Director of Lakeview EMS, John Miller, come in, and he's gonna.
Muller.
Oh.
It should be a U, not an I.
Muller, my man. Thanks for correcting.
No.
He'll be coming in to kind of give us a rundown of everything that's been happening on his side, and if we have questions on how we've been with first responding in the village. Otherwise, that's pretty much what I have for our side of everything right now.
Thank you. Item 12, Public Welfare. Kirky.
We did not meet, but like we just saw in our last presentation, right now is the time where if you're having any major garbage issues, to make sure let us know, because clearly they want to change and do better, and right now would be the perfect time for us to show them how they could help our community more. So please reach out if you have any major issues, and we'll keep an eye watching over this issue.
Thank you, Kurt. Okay, item 13, Park Board Committee recommendations. Mary?
Yes, thank you. The Park Board met. We welcomed our new commissioner, Sarah Schwalbach. We had updates from the Parks Director, Matthew Howell, regarding memorial benches and possibly memorial trees. And I would believe that the Park Board will be bringing a recommendation to the board soon. Gina drafted some nice options for helping the public be aware of our hopeful potential to be able to have memorial benches and trees in different areas of the village and in the park areas. We also discussed having a joint meeting with the City of Hudson's Park Board on January 20th to review the 5-year outdoor recreational plan for the city that pertains to the Lake Malibu Basin area for potential for park and trail, and to discuss with the City Park Board potential options for that park. And Park Board Commissioner John Flater is going to be researching models for volunteer friends of the park for the village. So we look forward to hearing more about that. And we canceled our December meeting, so nobody show up.
Do we have any updates on Tree City yet?
We have not heard back. There was we had to provide a change. Gina, do you remember what it was? Something about the budget?
Yeah, I can't remember.
It's not done.
Yeah.
It's not a done deal.
Yeah,
But we are planning for Arbor Day.
So
Okay,
much
Arbor
in
Day?
order for them to- it's like a matching grant thing, I think. That's a quick assessment. Okay, anything else? No?
No, thank you.
Okay, and I know one thing, that since you're not meeting, I hope I'm not gonna speak out of turn, but one of your members is retiring after many, many years. Michelle Ortner is
Really?
she's got other stuff to do, and she's got one of her neighbors that lives right next door to the park down there that she's recommended. So you'll be seeing that come up probably the next board meeting or something like that, to get her on your board so you get to fill that up. So
Michelle's been on for over 20 years and
Yeah.
has been a very valuable park board member. So we're sorry to see her go, but appreciate her decades of service.
you certainly are, Michelle. I'm sure you're listening because you got rest after the children today. So we really appreciate it. We thank you for your years of service. Alrighty then. Oh, that brings us to item 14, and that would be we are adjourned at 6:42.